Bad news and a sad ending for Harry and Meghan. The last traces of Sussex were removed. And the question of whether Harry and his wife Meghan were evicted from the Frogmore house. Hello and a very warm welcome to Kate Middleton and the Queen News Channel. To answer Megxit's final chapter is clear when a royal removals van was spotted heading towards Frogmore Cottage today as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are believed to be handing over their Windsor home to Princess Eugenie. Frogmore Cottage is not the property of Harry and Meghan Markle. It is the property of the Crown, and rather than have it sit empty, it was probably suggested to Harry that Eugenie and Jack might benefit from it more than him and his awful wife. Eugenie and her husband, Jack Brooksbank, are in the process of moving into the 5-bedroom house on the Queen's Berkshire estate, and an Abel's removal van was seen heading towards the property today. The Suffolk-based company has a royal warrant to the Queen for removals and storage services, having first worked for the royal household in 1981. The warrant was originally awarded in 1988 and last renewed in 2016. A sad end for Harry and his family. He has become thrall to a woman that will carelessly harm the royal family and discard him as a man. When he is no longer helping her publicity, she will dump him like her first husband. If she could have had a bit of humility and not having it all be about me, then things might have been different. Her barging in front of Harry and acting as if she was the center of all interest and then not respecting any of the rules, then crying victim and torment. According to the source, these egotistical two have substituted celebrities for royalty. They have abused the Queen and country and have no home or place here now. They are so tone-deaf, even their celebrity won't last long, and they are quickly turning into pariahs. Even Hollywood is now turning away from their false indignation and pious preaching. A waste of space. It's good to know the house is going to be occupied. Hope the review in March puts an end to all the uncertainty about Harry and Meghan's role, if indeed they have one. Does Harry know what a mess he has gotten himself into? The spark in his eyes is gone. He will never like it in Cali, surrounded by woke, artificial, money and fame-hungry, uncultured Hollywood weirdos. However, according to an insider, Frogmore Cottage is not and has never been the Markles' home. It's the Crown property and in the gift of the monarch. It's Markle's PR saying that a secret deal was done behind the Queen's back. Nonsense. Markle and the dimwit have basically been evicted, and it's about time. Can we now have the accounts published to demonstrate that these two losers have paid everything back that they owe on it? Otherwise, I suspect the monies have been written off as bad debt, i.e., we've picked up the tab yet again. Posting on Twitter, a royal expert also explains, delusional, amateur, no-list Meghan is really trying to hammer home the PR narrative that she's giving the home to Eugenie, as if she's in control. Similar to when she put stories out that she was declining invitations to royal holiday parties last year. Girl, no one invited you. You were evicted from your rented house. Who exactly do you think you're fooling with this desperate PR? Everyone knows you're persona non grata in the royal family. Frogmore was given to Harry and Meghan by the Queen in April 2018, a month before their wedding. The Sussexes' possessions are understood to have been moved out of the property under the cover of darkness. Among the fittings in the cottage is a £5,000 designer bath produced by luxury firm William Holland, a supplier for the Soho House chain, which made of gleaming copper and took 120 man-hours to be hand-beaten out. Our source revealed Markle was royal for about a minute and a half until she figured out she didn't get everything her own way. The copper bath must have cost plenty to transport to the vulgar Montecito villa. The dim, red-haired boy paid all costs naturally. The grifter has never had it so good in her life and is still making a mockery of the royal family, using their titles and benefits. This source added, the royal family allowed her to marry into their family, and now they pay the price. It looks like they've been told to stop messing people around. Letting Eugenie live there at least allows someone to use it. Harry and Meghan have moved from the 2-bedroom cottage in Kensington Palace to, I believe, an apartment in Kensington Palace, which they didn't like, then to Frogmore. After that, a short stay in Canada, onto a rented house in California, and lastly, their own house. All in the space of just over 2 years. That is 6 moves, including having Archie. They must be bonkers putting themselves through that. None of their moves have given them enough time to adjust. They rushed into the last house just like they rushed into everything else. On the other hand, the one thing the Queen holds most dear is the duty. If she didn't, she would have retired years ago. Harry's lack of duty must hurt her and Prince Philip, and it looks like the offer of the lease made to Harry and Meghan Markle has now been withdrawn, and the property has been offered to another of her grandchildren. The Queen may love Harry, but she is not a woman to forgive lack of moral fiber easily. Just wait until the end of the 12-month review. And discussion has revealed many fans also slammed Harry and his wife Meghan. The first one wrote, "This is just Meghan and Harry's latest PR to try and show how kind and generous Meghan and Harry are. It's rubbish. The Crown Estates own Frogmore Cottage, and it was gifted to Harry and Meghan as part of their package, as payment for being working royals. They had a lease. They overspent on the restoration and have apparently now repaid $2.5 million to cover this, as they obviously have no plans on returning to the UK and are no longer working royals. The Queen and the Crown Estate decided to offer the property to Eugenie and Jack. It's nothing to do with Harry and Meghan." But a fan explains, "In my opinion, if the Markles were staying in September, that Frogmore would continue to be their UK base, and in November they are moving out. They got moved out. It wasn't voluntary. The Queen didn't give the Markles Frogmore. The Queen allowed them to use it. And I think they may have hesitated to overpay the debt if they knew, which apparently they didn't know in September when they paid the debt, that they weren't going to be allowed to use it for their UK base. So maybe they got outmaneuvered by Buckingham Palace. Who knows?" Meanwhile, the second fan points out, Meghan Markle just got what she wanted: fame and fortune, connections, Archie as a ring in Harry's nose, the whole cake. Or is that enchilada? Now that she can really be a star or a superhero. Harry was and is vulnerable, and she took advantage. He should have listened to his brother, but he couldn't admit to being wrong. He doesn't have a strong spine, apparently. The whole thing is sad, and I feel for Archie. Another fan added, "Meghan wouldn't just give the home to Eugenie, not after her self-importance and entitlement to Eugenie's tiara were denied. And Eugenie wouldn't talk to her after she tried to upstage her wedding day with news of her pregnancy. No, this is another example of Her Majesty the Queen getting the last laugh. Frogmore was taken away from me again and Trader Ginge. America can keep the miserable, self-centered, ungrateful pair of they've given nothing back to the country since their marriage. Harry seems to have forgotten all sense of duty, and she turned tail in a huff when she realized that she was never going to be the star of the show, no matter how woke she was. Now, for God's sake, we stop using the same old photos and squeezing every last drop of drama out of this. They wanted privacy to stop giving them oxygen of attention." And the last one said, "Megxit won't be complete until Harry and Meghan disappear from public life for good. And that means no media coverage whatsoever, no infantile books or documentaries, and not a whisper about women's rights, climate change, racism, Harry's mental health, or any other bandwagon they have decided to exploit to publicize themselves. The British public and the royal family can breathe a sigh of relief." And you, what do you think about my news? Let us know in the comments, and if you think my video is useful for everyone, remember to like and share it with anyone you think will also love it like us. And don't forget to subscribe to Kate Middleton and the Queen News YouTube channel to get more news about the royal family. Now, thank you for watching, have a nice day, and see you in the next video.